Guys, on this episode we're going to show you how to knock out the competition. Welcome back to FitBiz Journey Podcast. On this special episode with Prita Patel and Lizzie Neary and myself, we are going to talk about some lead generation and the show-up rate, which have been a huge problem to all of you awesome listeners. And the reason why I created this episode, because anytime I go onto any forums, and when I'm in forums, I talk about Instagram and Facebook. Internet kind of changed, but I see so many gym owners comment about and sharing their actual information, I have it here, that what were like comments, what were their ad spend, what were their opt-ins, scheduled clients, the showed up rate, the closed, the refunds, and how much they actually made. And the crazy thing is that most of the people that they book, the show up rate is actually less than half. And then also the sign up rate is go down to about 10%, which you're going to talk about that in a minute. That was the difference between a website lead, a a referral, and an advertisement lead, because they all have different rates of signups. So we're going to talk about that today, right, Prita?
Yes, we are.
So let's start with advertising, as far as how we even get leads, maybe, real quick.
Absolutely. I mean, the process for For You Fitness has completely changed over the year and a half or so I've been here.
And it's going to keep evolving, so it's like never even going to finish. But go ahead, yeah, sorry.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I started off as a trainer, and then one of the things I was doing is also booking all of the leads for You Fitness. And since that point to where we're at now with our new system, it's just a completely different process. But what's good about that is our numbers have jumped up significantly across all the studios since having a full process with lead generation, since having our partnerships with different companies. So we're excited about sharing all those details.
Yes, so let's start with getting leads. Most of you are getting leads on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. At least I hope so. If you are still working on getting leads from referrals, which is fine. But eventually you can't build a business and open up more and more locations, because it's not fast enough, to do it from referrals on the long term. In the short term, and then when you have an established business and you're really working, if you're really working the referral and you came up with some amazing way to do it, it will obviously boost your business, but you do need to advertise, because you need to brand your company, and it needs to be a brand, and that way eventually you can tie down on the ads, I guess, and the cost itself, which we'll talk about.
Absolutely. Once your brand exists and you're being recognized for what you do and what you offer, you won't even need to spend money on advertising anymore. So, because at that point, everyone's going to be talking. Not nearly as much, absolutely. Everyone's going to be talking about you. So. But
keep it in mind that we talk about this all the time, that the ad costs are not expenses. I mean, it's expense, but you spend money to make money. So it's not like, oh man, advertising is going to cost me thousands of dollars. That's fine. If you spend $10,000 but you make back $15,000, for example, it was already worth it. So it doesn't matter how much you spend. And not to mention, it's supposed to be recurring revenue, not a one-time thing, right? So if you spent even $20,000 and you made $10,000 at the end of the month, then yes, you lost $10,000. But if the next month you make that back, and then the recurring payments for the remaining of the year, then you made hundreds of thousands of dollars off of $20,000. If you look at it that way. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about this later, but let's get into details. And by the way, for this, to able to analyze how much you can actually afford to spend per lead as they come in, you really need to know your client lifetime value. So you need to actually calculate that how long they're staying with you, how much they are spending month to month, if they buy your supplements, if they buy your clothing, whatever they buy, and also adding all the factors as in reviews, referrals they brought in and everything, and then you will get a true value of each client. You can divide it and break it down exactly how much you can afford to spend per ad. I mean, lead, not ad. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So let's go with the flow. So let's say you're already working with our favorite customers, our favorite team, Loudrummer, that we use all the time too for our internal advertisement team. And the cool thing is that if you already do that, by the way, then you have tons of Facebook leads and maybe already Instagram and maybe YouTube as well. So what do you do as they come in? That's usually the questions, because the phone just rings off the hook or you get all these text messages, or you get all these emails and the leads just coming back in. And what do you do if you're in the business, right? That's the number one problem.
It's a big difficult thing because most studio owners are doing everything within their business, right? So it's hard for them to be able to answer all the phones or pick up the phone and make the calls themselves when they have everything else going on. So obviously that was a struggle when you first were doing leads on your own, right?
Yeah, and then, so here guys, good thing you brought it up because, so we had hundreds and hundreds of leads. At that time, if not even 1,000 when we had 2 studios. We had 300 at that time each because they were so cheap on Facebook when I first started out. So we got even more leads than we got today. So it was just crazy. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that when you first start out in your business, it's okay that you do everything, but instead of taking home money to yourself, instead of buying things that you don't need, instead of living that life that, all right, I'm a business owner, what you need to actually do is pay yourself less, pay less for your livings, pay less for your food, whatever that is, but you need to be able to afford to have help. So you need to hire a team eventually that can take that off your hand so you can focus on scaling up while the team focusing on the cost and the quality and the results and whatever that is. But the point is you cannot just do it all. And when you mentioned this, I brought this up because this comment on Facebook that I replied back to, somebody, I don't want to say her name, but she commented and said that she spends about $600 a month on leads. She got about 100 and something leads. She scheduled out of 110, 75 of them. Only about 30 showed up, so that's way less than half. And then out of that, 20 actually signed up and 6 asked for a refund. So, but then she actually made $5,000 off of this. And she only spent 600. But I mean, obviously on this, right away I looked at it, she does not share how much that actually costed her. This is literally just the ad spent itself. So I really think that she probably broke even, if anything. But it's still okay because it's recurring revenue. But my point is right here, to Parita's point and not my point, that she just mentioned that you cannot do it all. She, even in the comment when I replied back, less than half showed up. Why do you think that is? And then she replied right away that I honestly know we need to call more, send videos, messages, follow-ups. And then she mentioned that she runs that part of the business while the husband runs the coaching part of the business. And she's juggling because she also has another job at the same time. So it's not enough that she's doing everything in the business, but she also has an additional job. So you have to go all in, which I'm glad to hear that she did. She actually quit the other job and now focusing 100% on this. And I actually replied back to her that she really liked, and she replied back that, okay, this is what I really needed, thank you so much. And now she's gonna triple down on the leads because I said that, and this is what we're gonna talk about in a minute, that guys, when somebody comes in and you book them, for example, and then they don't show or cancel, you need to continue calling them. We have so many times when it's the 30-second phone call when they actually pick up the phone and then they actually say that, oh, I'm so glad that you finally reached me because that shows me that when I actually really need you, you will be in my corner, and that's what I need in a personal trainer. And then, of course, and then mention sometimes that, oh, and other gyms I have signed up for, they stop calling after the second day, which, by the way, the average people call 2 times and that's it. How many times do you call?
How many times do you need to call?
Yeah, exactly.
More than 13?
Way more. Yeah.
At a minimum is what the statistics say. And most people give up after the first 2 or 3 calls, as Daniel just mentioned. So, and if you're doing all these other things that you're juggling, you're not going to be able to consistently call those people every single day or text them every other day, whatever your process is. And
with
if you
hundreds
don't,
of leads.
with hundreds of leads. And if you don't do that, then you might as well take all that money you're spending on every single lead and flush it down the toilet because you're not maximizing on any of them.
Exactly.
Yeah. The continuous approach is the most important piece of leads. When you have them, you got to keep working and got to keep reaching out to them. And just like Daniel said, they actually appreciate it because in our experience, when we've in the past not continuously reached out, maybe a month goes by and we do finally get a hold of them, and they're like, "Well, I already signed up somewhere else, and I really wanted to come in." So that ends up being a pretty sad situation because we knew that we could have reached those people. So. Consistency.
And keep that in mind that, guys, this is just rolling the dice. So every day you throw the dice each time when you call them, and eventually it will land on the 6s. And once it lands on the 6s, you won, and that person gonna come in. And here's the thing: if you would call me right now because you're doing your follow-up calls and you only call once a day each lead, then obviously I wouldn't pick up the phone. So why do you expect the client when you call to pick up the phone? They also have a busy life, right? So same thing. So if you would call me tomorrow and I'm doing this again, or I have a meeting, I won't pick up again. So it would just go on and on. And by the way, I will tell you about the voicemails because you have to leave voicemails and text too. And we talk about it in a minute. But also I wanted to point out that yes, every once in a while, there will be people who will say, leave me alone. But how many times do you get that versus people just don't say anything back? When they don't say anything back, the advertising agency we use today, they called me about 12 to 13 times when I finally picked up the phone. But the reason why I never picked it up because I was always in a meeting, I was busy, or I didn't want to talk to anybody at that time, or I didn't want to talk to an agent right now. But the thing is that I wanted to work with them, so I just played the rolling the dice game, basically. I was waited, and when finally they hit me, which was, I think, the 13th call on the right time, I picked up the phone, and we have been working with them for almost 3 years now. So do you see this? If they wouldn't call, we would not be working with them.
Correct. And that's the thing. Most people are like, oh, I feel bad that I keep bothering them. They're not picking up the phone, so clearly they're not interested. That is not the case because they're busy. Like, they could literally be in the bathroom when you call them, and then they're like, oh, I'll call them back later, or I'll text them later, and then something else happens, and then what? They forget. So you have to think about it from their perspective. By continually showing up for them, they're going to be able to actually count on you for something. So it's not about you. It's not about your feelings and worrying about like, oh, I might be like bothering them. It's about them and what they need from you. So don't give up until you actually get a hold of them or they say stop.
Exactly.
What's the worst that can happen? They say stop, so you say bye.
Yeah, and not to mention, they signed up for this. It's not like, it's not cold calling either. It's not like a random leads, you're calling them or whatever. Yep. It's literally people who want your service. So keep calling. I see it so often, that they lose. This is exactly why we came up with our, other business within our business, to do phone calls for gym owners who don't have the time. Don't have the time or don't have the resources to be able to pick up the phone, because guys, you do need to pick up the phone. The most annoying thing is if your lead calls you and nobody picks up the phone, because here's the thing, it's so funny. I mean, it's sad, not funny, but so many times when a lead calls and you don't pick up the phone and you don't call them the day after, they might even join another gym. We had that actually last week. We had a lady who left a voicemail to us and a text message too, I think, and I replied back to her, but she said, oh, sorry, I just joined LA Fitness. And I'm like, are you serious? You know what I mean? But it's like, just like that, because they were in that mood. Yeah. So you need to catch them in that mood.
Strike,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that quick, you can lose someone.
Well, the window of opportunity is small as it is, right? So you have to reach them within the first couple minutes of when they sign up. Otherwise, the likelihood of actually booking them drops. What's the percentage?
900%.
900%. Yep. That's crazy.
However, our research, that's the average in the whole industry in the United States.
Yep.
In the fitness industry, you're a little bit better. It only drops about 68%. And we did that research with 4,000 phone calls. And our percentage of people still wanting to come in was around 68%, 64%, something like that. We can actually put it into this podcast so they can look it up. But the point is, it's still a lot. So you need to call. But if you can't, we'll also link in our information or just email us. And then we're going to be able to help you, or just comment below if you're interested. But if we're able to help you with the phone calls, we're more than happy to do that, because now we have about 50 receptionists who are actually picking up the phone any day of the time. And when I mean any time of the day, it's basically from 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah. But we're working on international time as well. But the point is, we really want to help you, because we know that you're going to make thousands of more dollars if you would be able to call these people or at least pick up the phone. So we can fix that. Okay, can you imagine if, let's say, you called me, I signed up for your personal training, Parita, right? And then and I didn't pick up the phone and you leave me a voicemail. Hey, this is Parita from For You Fitness, and I was just calling because you signed up for a 3-week trial. I just would like to set it up for you. So give me a call back at blah blah this number. Yeah. Thank you. Bye. So would you call that back?
No,
I would not either. And this is what this is what they do.
Yeah, and that's the 100% the normal case. Yeah,
you need to make it really exciting, very upbeat, high energy, and get them excited that why the hell would they come back? And by the way, when you leave a voicemail, number 1 rule, also don't say please call me back. Don't finish like that, because one, they won't, but here's the problem. When you call them the next day or later, they're gonna feel like, oh, I shouldn't pick up his phone because he told me to call back and I didn't call him back.
They have this guilt that they should have done something, they didn't do it, so now they don't want to like own up to it by picking up the phone and actually talking to you. Yeah, so it's true.
Yeah, so what you have to do is when you leave a voicemail, say to call me back, but I'd finish it up with, But don't worry if you don't, because I am going to call you every single day until you pick up the phone. But no, usually I say that at the end as a joke and I laugh, but right before that I actually say that, but don't worry if you don't pick it up, because I am going to call you tomorrow at 3 p.m. And then make sure that if you do say that, you actually do call them tomorrow at 3 p.m. and your chances go up like this much, that they're actually going to pick up the phone.
Yeah, because then you're already starting to build a trust there.
Yep.
Showing them, like you just showing up for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's hugely important. And then
here's the other thing that's very important about voicemail. But at this point in time, how many people even talk on the phone? Limited, right? At least you have to send a text message also.
Oh, so yeah, weakness performance, by the way.
Yeah.
So they said that their calls, and they're probably watching or listening, but they said that their calls is way lower, and most of the people that they book is through text messages. Like I think they said like 85% or something. Anyways, go ahead.
I haven't calculated the percentage of what our booking rate is from text, but it's probably around that, because at this point people are at work. They can't be on the phone. They'll shoot you a text, but I've seen before where people don't do that with their leads, and they leave a voicemail and then that's it. You're never going to really be able to reach anybody if you don't use multiple forms of communication, and texting today is one of the most important ones.
Yes.
So don't miss out on that. And throw in a smiley face, like have scripts. You have to have a script for everything, for first time call, second time call, how you want to follow up a week later, how you want to get feedback. If you don't have that stuff documented.
We have hundreds of those.
Yeah, it's free for all, and then you're going to miss out on the important things that you need to say. So make sure you have it organized.
And the no-shows. So let's talk about the no-shows, because most people struggle with that. So first of all, you have to make them really excited to come in, send them videos, pictures, talk about it, get them really excited that they cannot miss out on this. It's a huge deal, really good deal.
Limited opportunities. Yep.
Use scarcity, use everything you need to do. You need to make them excited to come in and constantly remind them the day of, the day before, everything.
That's a big thing. I want to make sure we emphasize that. Yes, you could talk to them the day before and book it. They'll still forget the following day.
Yep.
They've got a lot of stuff going on, whether it's work, kids, life, everything. So you have to send them a reminder also the day of. And like, hey, I can't wait to see you tonight. It's going to be a good butt whooping, whatever it is that you offer them in the first session. And ask them to confirm, like, are you still going to be able to make it? I cannot wait to meet you. And they'll say, yes, I can't wait.
Yep.
Remember to bring shoes, whatever the case is. But you have to do it also the day of.
Yeah, and even then, sometimes you're going to have people who won't show up. And then when I did some consultation, I had some that didn't show up, and then it's very important that you actually call them. And again, leave a voicemail, a funny voicemail I left, because I was like, Susan, why did you stood me up? But anyways, it's just to joke around as, oh, we had a date, and I'm here sitting alone.
All dressed up. Ready to go.
Exactly. Just joke around. And then they're going to be like, okay. By the way, anytime I did that, I got voicemails back the night of that happened, and the voicemails were like this long, apologizing that, oh man, I'm so sorry, I just started a new job, and this happened, that happened, my daughter, my dog, all these things, doesn't matter, whatever excuse it was. The point is, they called me back, and now they feel bad, so now I have an angle, so I call them back, and all right, Susan, no worries, let's make this happen, I'm here for you. So that's what they need.
Yeah. Add humor to everything.
Yep.
Every part of the phone call.
And then the next episode, by the way, there's way more to talk about.
Yes.
But what I wanted to really bring up is that your ad costs will go down if you build a brand, and if you also, if you huge on social media, posting blog post every single day, post on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, even LinkedIn, Twitter, all of these places, and all feed into your one main area, your landing pages. But the point is that your ad costs, we should talk about in the next episode that I cannot wait to talk about because it's so exciting, and share you actual numbers that how much our ad cost went down since we have all of our trainers started to become keepers of influence on social media and started to brand and respond to our clients and comments and all these things.
Yeah.
So it's a really big deal that you don't just depend on ads, because eventually it will go down. It's a marketplace, guys. Think of it, a beachfront property. Back in the time here in Florida, for example, they were dirt cheap, and now they're going for millions of dollars. Same thing, it's a marketplace. This is the time to get in because the price will go up, and they only think limited people. So you're gonna miss out if you don't build a brand now when it's dirt cheap. So we're gonna talk about it on the next episode. Anything else you want to add to leads and the calls real quick, Farida? That besides
point,
we can help them?
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be the biggest piece of it. Since we've had a whole team supporting this specific part of the business only, our leads have shot up, our percentages have gone up. What did you say? A 10% sign up rate is...
Oh yeah, let's talk about it. Sorry.
Yeah, like we need to talk about that.
So yes, I totally forgot. So the leads. So when you have a referral, most people are so proud of and say that, oh, they sign up like 6 to 8 out of 10 people who come through their door.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you shouldn't be proud of that. It should be 10 out of 10 because they're referrals.
Yeah,
so
that's
you know
a
that's
hot
good.
lead.
Yeah.
100%.
Exactly. And then the second is when they have the website leads. The website leads have an average of 30% sign-up rates before they even come in. They have a 30%. They made up their mind. 30% of them already want to sign up. Just don't ruin it for them. So, and then the leads, the advertisement leads, or cold leads, we call it. And those leads, the average in the industry is 10% sign-up rate out of your leads that come in. So now the good guys do around 30+%, but those are the really good guys. So ours is meaning like leads actually come through when I'm in on the phone and book them. Out of that, I think ours was like 52% or something like that. Out of the ones that actually came in for the consultation. But if we want to talk about the ones that actually just from the leads as they come in as a phone call, then the average is between 10 to 30 something %, and most of the industry does only 10%. So guys, just to know the difference between that, this is how you should break it down. So referrals, 100% hot lead, you must sign up every single one of them. There's no way you shouldn't. So if you don't sign each one of them up, then you're doing something wrong. Look into some sales books, sales information. Second, or do you have a sales process for one, right?
Yeah.
And then second,
most places don't.
Exactly, most places don't. And then second, website leads are basically warm leads, or warmer leads, not hot leads, but warm leads. So you already have 30% basically chance that they're gonna sign up.
And those are the people that actually go to your website, look you up, do a little bit of research on you, and then either call or apply on the website to actually come in, as opposed to somebody who maybe saw an ad on Facebook, Instagram, which are the cold leads.
Yeah, those cold leads, basically some people just want to try things. Like they're like, oh, I just want to try this out.
Yeah.
So that's when the real sales comes in. So you really need to have a sales process, and you need to know how to sell, because these are the people who just want to come in something to try for free, or do this challenge, whatever you're doing, and then it's your job to change their mind and show them that they cannot live without this.
Did we do an episode on the sales process?
No, but we'll do one.
Yeah, we'll need to.
All right, so...
Anyways, to be continued.
Yes.
There's a lot more here.
So guys, thank you very much again for listening. We really, really appreciate you. Please go down and subscribe to our channel if you can. Please share this episode if it was useful, and please rate it and just comment below it. I would really appreciate if you could give us some feedback that what you would like to hear more, what you would like to hear less, and what you actually want from us, because we are actually here for you.
And if you have questions or like even specifics about what's happening with your leads, anything that you need some advice on, like those questions are what we are looking for as well, so that we know what to actually give you. So
thank you again.
Thank you. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.